Gumball 3000 Macedonia crash. In 2007, during the Gumball 3000, a serious crash happened in North Macedonia involving British participant Nicholas Morley. He was driving at very high speed on a normal public road and tried to overtake another car. At that moment, everything went wrong. His car hit a local Volkswagen which was not involved in the race. Vladimir Chepunjowski, the driver of the Volkswagen, died at the scene. The passenger, Margit Chepunjowska, died at the hospital 2 days later as a result of the injuries sustained in the crash. Morley was arrested right after the crash, and the rally itself was stopped early. What makes this incident stand out is how quickly a high-speed decision turned into a fatal situation on an everyday road where people were just going about their lives. Paul Walker crash. In 2013, Paul Walker died in a crash in Santa Clarita. He was sitting in the passenger seat of a Porsche Carrera GT driven by his friend Roger Rodas. The car was being driven extremely fast on a public street. At that speed, even a small loss of control becomes impossible to recover from. The car spun out, hit a pole, and caught fire almost instantly. Both men died at the scene. This crash became widely talked about because it involved a famous actor known for the Fast and Furious movies, Immigrantes Highway 300 car pileup. On September 15, 2011, a massive chain reaction crash occurred on the Rodovia dos Imigrantes in Brazil. According to official reports, about 300 vehicles were involved when dense fog suddenly reduced visibility on the highway. Drivers began slowing down at different speeds, but those behind could not react in time, causing one crash to trigger another across nearly 2 kilometers of road. The pileup left one person dead and dozens injured, with emergency teams struggling for hours to reach trapped drivers. Fire and smoke from damaged vehicles made the situation even more chaotic. The incident became one of the largest highway pileups ever recorded in terms of vehicle count, and it highlighted how quickly fog and reduced visibility can turn normal traffic into a large-scale disaster. Dubai Lamborghini Aventador fire incident. This isn't exactly an accident or a car crash, but it is more of a technical error in the engineering of the car. In October 2015, in Dubai, a Lamborghini Aventador caught fire while being driven on a public road. The car was a rental and was being driven by a female tourist identified online as Victoria Vicky, though her full identity was never officially confirmed. The incident happened while the car was stuck in traffic, where the driver repeatedly revved the engine. Witnesses reported that flames began appearing from the rear engine bay while the car was still moving. Despite people outside the vehicle warning her, she continued driving for a short time before realizing the car was on fire. She then stopped and exited the vehicle, but by that point, the fire had already spread and the car was completely destroyed. The exact technical cause was never officially confirmed, but the incident became viral and is often cited as an example of how extreme engine stress or mechanical issues in supercars can lead to sudden fires in normal traffic conditions. Street racing crash in Commerce. On November 14, 2015, a deadly crash occurred in Commerce, near the Los Angeles area, involving suspected street racing. According to NBC Los Angeles, 3 people were killed and 2 others were critically injured when multiple vehicles collided in the early hours of the morning. The crash happened around 1 a.m. and involved at least 3 vehicles, including 2 Ford Mustangs and a pickup truck. Investigators said the vehicles were likely racing when one driver lost control, triggering a violent multi-car collision. Victims included Oscar Sanchez, Guillermo Gutierrez, and Oscar Gutierrez Sabino, all of whom died at the scene, while 2 others were rushed to hospital in critical condition. Vietnam truck overturned crash. On June 4, 2022, a fatal road accident occurred in northern Vietnam when a heavily modified truck lost control and overturned into an oncoming taxi car. According to reports, the car was carrying 4 people who did not know each other, including a 29-year-old driver and 3 other passengers. The truck, driven by a 29-year-old man, had been illegally modified and was reportedly much larger than its original design, which likely contributed to the loss of stability before the crash. The truck suddenly overturned and struck the smaller car head-on, causing devastating impact forces that killed 3 of the occupants instantly, while only the youngest passenger survived. Emergency responders later confirmed the fatalities, and the truck driver was arrested following the incident as authorities investigated illegal vehicle modifications and dangerous driving as contributing factors. Ohio Donut distracted driving crash. On April 2, 2025, a 3-car crash occurred in Thompson, Ohio, after a driver identified as Nicholas Fleming became distracted while driving. According to reports, he dropped a donut while reaching for his coffee and instinctively looked down, causing his vehicle to drift into oncoming traffic. His car first sideswiped one vehicle and then crashed into another, creating a violent chain reaction that left one car nearly flattened and others heavily damaged. Emergency crews had to extract one person from a vehicle, and multiple individuals were injured, though none of the injuries were life-threatening. The road remained closed for several hours as responders cleared the scene. Fleming was later cited for distracted driving and failing to stay in his lane, and the incident became a clear example of how even a brief moment of distraction can lead to serious and widespread damage on the road. 1955 Le Mans disaster. On the 11th of June 1955, during the 24 hours of Le Mans at the Circuit de la Sarthe in France, one of the worst crashes in motorsport history occurred. A Mercedes, driven by Pierre Levey, became involved in a high-speed collision and was launched into a spectator area after hitting another car. The vehicle disintegrated on impact, and large debris, including engine parts and burning magnesium fragments, was thrown into the crowd. According to historical records, Leveg and at least 82 spectators were killed, with over 100 more injured. The race was not stopped immediately as officials feared blocking emergency access routes. The disaster led to major changes in motorsport safety rules, including improved track design and stricter crowd protection measures, and it remains the deadliest accident in racing history. Davi Enrique Vargas Daldin crash. On March 13, 2026, a fatal traffic accident occurred in Cascavel, involving 20-year-old motorcyclist Davi Enrique Vargas Daldin. The crash took place at an intersection where his motorcycle collided with a Hyundai Creta. Security camera footage showed the car slowing down as it approached the intersection, but as it moved forward, it entered the path of the motorcycle, which was traveling on the main road. The impact was extremely violent, lifting the side of the SUV off the ground and heavily damaging the vehicle. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but Davi had suffered severe injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities isolated the area for investigation, and the case highlighted how even a brief misjudgment at an intersection can lead to a fatal outcome, especially when speed and right-of-way conditions are involved. Tracy Morgan crash. In 2014, Tracy Morgan was involved in a devastating crash on the New Jersey Turnpike. A truck driver named Kevin Roper had reportedly been driving too fast and had not slept properly. His truck slammed into the back of a limousine van carrying Morgan and others. The impact was so strong that it caused a chain reaction, hitting multiple vehicles. Tracy Morgan's friend James McNair was killed, and Morgan suffered severe injuries that took a long time to recover from. While this wasn't a street race, the situation still shows what high-speed, careless driving can do in seconds, especially on busy highways.